What up, y'all? This is Night Rider. We'll talk about a topic today. What's going on? Are poor people bad with money? I watched the video. Guy named Ben Shapiro. I don't know exactly what he does for a living. Very intelligent guy. Very intelligent guy. Goes around giving speeches or whatever. A lot about politics, social issues, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he made a comment that offends a lot of people. Poor people are poor because they're bad with money. They suck with money. And everyone got offended and everything. And that's a powerful statement to make. Are poor people poor because they suck with money? Not necessarily. They don't have a lot of money to work with. So any mistake they make is amplified and it looks horrible because they have no room to make mistakes. Whereas people who already have a lot of money, they can make a ton of mistakes, make stupid purchases, and still have money left over. Does that mean they're good with money? No. They might just have a high-paying job that affords them to make dumb purchases and still have money left over. For people who are born in not so favorable conditions, they obviously started a lot lower than somebody who's born and say to a family that has a good amount of money. It's going to be a lot harder for that person to dig themselves out of a financial hole than it is to somebody who already had a head start. I know people who are poor because simply they have a low paying job. And people say, well, why don't you go to school? Well, school costs money. And if you don't already have money, it's hard to go to school. Even if you get scholarships, it's still difficult. Room and board, living expenses. You know, getting a reliable car is hard when you don't have a lot of money. When you're starting out on the bottom, getting a reliable car is difficult, very difficult. Let's say if you're born with parents who don't have a good paying job, they can't afford to buy you a car. You know, you don't understand the cycle of poverty is very difficult to get out of. People say if you just work hard, it's not always that simple. Yeah, you got to work hard, but it's hard being poor. You know, some kids who are rich, all they have to worry about is getting good grades. Kids who are poor have to worry about having to help the family out to make sure the lights are on, the heat is on, they got food to eat. They're worried about their bare necessities. They're probably in a bad neighborhood, so they got to worry about the dangers of going outside and gangs and drugs and just violence. You know, people who are not in those circumstances don't understand that it's just not that simple. So are poor people poor because they're bad with money? No, poor people are poor for many different reasons. They started out in a situation that's conducive to staying poor. Are some of them lazy? Yes, absolutely. Are some of them poor because they're stupid and they can't handle money? Yes. But there are people who have money who suck with money. There are people who have money who are horrible with it. I'm not to tell you guys this. You guys know. You guys are working. I'm assuming, you know, most of us aren't rich. How difficult is it for you to take care of your business and pay your bills? Take care of your children, go to school. You know, we're all bad with money in some way, shape, or form, but even if you're not horrible with money, is it easy? No, it's not easy. It is not easy out here. So, now if you're poor your entire life, I mean, usually you should have some kind of upward mobility. You should work and make the sacrifices and do the hard work. Yeah, it sucks that you have your lot in life, but you just can't, you gotta get over that and do what you gotta do. Being poor does not give you an excuse not to work hard. And if anything, it's the opposite. You have to work harder because you're in a deeper hole and you have to dig out of it. It's not an excuse. You can't play the victim, even though poor people are victim of circumstances. If you know anything about economics and politics, you know that statement is very true. But regardless of that, you still have to get up and take care of your business. You can't sit around crying about it, ain't gonna change that. When you have money, things are so much easier for you. So much easier for you. And yes, I've been very poor. and it is very difficult, and it can get depressing. And when you're depressed, it's hard to have obviously a positive attitude and get up every day, go to work, and try to make the right choices. It's hard, sacrificing all the time, never catching a break. Struggling is difficult. And think about it, here's the thing, people who are born into favorable circumstances cannot endure the struggles or adversities that those poor people who are not born to favorable circumstances. If they were to switch places, they would commit suicide, because they haven't ever experienced what it's like to really be poor. I remember watching a documentary about rich people, and this person admitted, or that person confessed, this person said they couldn't live on $50 million a year. They could not survive on $50 million a year. Imagine that. Somebody saying they cannot live on $50 million a year. You really think that person would be able to mentally deal with living off 50 grand a year? They would lose their mind. They would absolutely lose their mind. They would have to totally rearrange how they manage their money, because they're used to having so much. Making a lot of money is not the same as being good with money. Making a lot of money is not the same as being good with money. If you don't believe that, just look at the people that we see on TV who lose money, the actors and sports players, boxers, or whatever. You say, how do they go broke? They make so much money. Yeah, making money is one thing. How you spend it and how you manage it is completely different. Completely different. So are rich people good with money? No, not necessarily, no. They just have good paying jobs. So I disagree with that statement that poor people are poor because they're bad with money. I think that's, and I'm assuming, I don't know, he didn't delve deep into it, but it's just not that simple. It's not that simple. But those are my thoughts. I'm talking way too long about this topic. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And that's all I got to say about that. Deuces.